But yeah, so welcome to the first of hopefully a good series on how to draw Yu-Gi-Oh monsters and just Yu-Gi-Oh in general, or just in general. Yep, that worked. All right, cool. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go over like I'm sure like some of you guys are probably like pretty new. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, you're in. So we're just gonna go over like I'm gonna just talk about composition because it's pretty important, and for what I'm trying to like teach you guys today, is something I think we should all kind of learn. So composition is like how to put stuff on your page and stuff basically. So some of the basic rules are like this. We try to like split it into thirds and all the stuff, right? But so what I'm going to try to show you guys is when you're drawing like Yu-Gi-Oh monsters or whatever, how to get like everything on your page to kind of look cool and flow and just not look awkward. So these are some of like the basic rules. So like just avoid putting, if you're doing like this is for landscape, but the concepts apply to everything. So if you put everything like just says don't put the horizon line in the middle because just your eyes are just immediately, yeah, dude. So so it's like, okay, so it's only one ticket per person that shows up. You can't just keep spamming it. So yeah, sorry, I'm doing a giveaway too. So if you do exclamation point ticket, you can enter to win the playmat, which I'll end around 5 o'clock because then I'll try to stop the stream there because I dinner all that stuff, and then I'll come back later to get. Sorry, dog. Hold on, give me a second. Yes, come back here. Come on, come here, come here. Sorry, guys, give me a second. The dog is letting me know there's something outside. Sorry, dog. Alright, hey guys, so as I was saying, so these are the basic rules for composition, but they're also this meant for landscaping, but it's just good to kind of keep in mind. So here, rule one was don't put the horizon line in the middle. This just kind of splits your work evenly, so it's just kind of hard to understand. Like it's not very like dynamic, I guess, or it looks kind of weird, I guess. So second rule is the 1/3 rule. So this one is, if you look at masterworks or just like really good photography, and if you use your phone, like your camera, like here, you'll see it too. So like on the camera, I don't really want to show anything because it really looks terrible. Ugh. So when you use your camera on your phone, you'll notice those white lines that split your screen into 9. Oops, sorry guys. So that follows the basic composition rule. Sorry, I'm just going to show like this Rayquaza box because my room is a mess. But so the idea is you want your points of interest to be where those lines intersect. So here I got like Rayquaza's face in the upper left like line for those composition lines. All right, so that's the rule of thirds, and I'll show you guys how that applies to like Yu-Gi-Oh stuff and just drawings in general, like especially animation follows this rule. The third one is use design elements to create a visual path to a center of interest. So I'll explain this more like in the card art stuff, but basically you want everything to flow to draw your eye along the movement, like action and stuff, like because if it's just flat, it's kind of boring, right? So if usually with monsters, it's like their necks, their bodies, their tails, the wings all want to draw your eye to like maybe the face or the mouth or where it's like unleashing the attack. And it forces a center of interest wherever it's located should have the strongest color with the most contrast. So this is drawing your eye to the point of focus that you want everyone to look at or notice immediately. So yeah, 5 says horizontal, vertical, and diagonal design. So it's like mixing it up. You don't want it just straight lines like horizontal. It's a little boring. And 6 is, this is pathway, river, road should be curved, not straight, just because it's more, it follows in the rule 3, which is like you want to draw your eye and you want to make it visually interesting. The exception I say would be like if you were taking a photo of like a freeway to have it just like smack in the middle and just like straight down, but that's honestly the only time I can think about it. But even when you do that, you have like stuff like power poles or something that just kind of break it up and just draw your eye to the horizon. So 7 is there's a corner roll. You don't want to do too many pinching lines. Basically, you don't want too many lines all coming to the same point because your eye is going to immediately follow those lines to the point. If that makes sense. So that's basic composition. I'll show you guys, like, I'll explain and show you guys as I show these other ones. So here's an example of photography, basically how they were saying the horizon shouldn't be smack in the middle, the rule of thirds. When you break it up like this, you just like, you feel the weight of the earth and the buildings, and you have the open sky. Just looks and feels nice. And then, yeah, so then this is also just like putting your points of interest along these intersections of the 4 lines. It's just people, buildings, that kind of stuff. Even portraits, your eyes and mouth should try to follow this thirds rule. So to show that, draw the Blue Eyes White Dragon. I've pulled up references. So here we have all the card art. Or most of the card art, which is ironic because it's like, you know, Blue Eyes was only supposed to have like 3, but there's like a billion. But yeah, so we can just break them down. Like, I'll point out what I like about some of these and what I don't like. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to chat. You know, I don't want you to be intimidated. Like, feel free to chat, feel free to ask questions. I'm looking, yeah, stuff like that. So we can just start with like the very classic art, like this classic Blue Eyes White Dragon. I'll try to like. So this is okay because you think about the card art. You basically have a square canvas. So this is the whoops. I have the neon. So this program I'm using is called Procreate. It's a pretty advanced drawing tool for the iPad. And I'm using like an Apple Pencil. But so when you start out, you got to think about your composition. So for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, we have basically a square. You're given a square for the artwork. Oh, you know what? Here, I'm gonna. Oh, it's not the eraser tool. I'm gonna draw it below just because. So when you think of your square, and then how you want to break that down, just for the classic Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can already see, like, if we do that rule of thirds, you can already see, like, this claw is on one of those points, the eye, mouth, head is on that other point. So your eye wants to be drawn first to the face because it's distinct and stuff. But the issue I think with this card is because, you know, it is older. The head kind of blends in with this wing. Like, you can see a fine edge, but because of the way it's colored, it kind of blends in. So if you're like really far away, it might look like this is like one whole shape, which is not great. Yeah. But, you know, this is iconic, classic, so that's why everyone, you know, recognizes this monster and stuff. So, like, here, I'll just, if I wanted to improve on this, you know, I could try to make the head pop out more. Like, I would honestly just try to, like, darken that. Whoops. Just to make the head pop out more, because, you know, then you really see, like, you know, just even look at this, like, just even a little bit, you can already see the head much more clear and the shape of its, you know, the outline of the head. Just by doing that, you can see, like, yeah, they do the shading on the Blue Eyes White Dragon, ironically, in like these light blue or like tints gray colors, which is pretty cool. So yeah, but just see, like, even just by doing that, I've already made the head pop out more, so it's more easier to instantly recognize. I think the next artwork is this one where his head's like crooked, because, like, you know, this is still the same. This one, the Toei Bandai card, they did it good, where like the wing is dark, so it makes a clear outline of the head. Like, yeah, the head is clearly like framed with this dark wing, and it's also following that thirds rule. The next one we have is the second artwork, which is they follow the opposite. So if I do that grid again, his head's mouth is on that point. So this is where that thirds rule is kind of important. You want to like draw your eye to those certain points, just because, you know, your eye kind of feels like, oh, I gotta like following the path. So that the rule about like the line of action, basically how to draw your eye in. So you can see that with these cards. It's like, you know, here's the head. I'm gonna use a different color. Like the whole body wants you to move towards the head, to see the head. So like the tail wraps around to point towards the head, which is the main focus point, which is good because that's good composition. So like even in this Blue Eyes, it's this one, the Shonen Jump tablet remake one. Just everything about this dragon wants you to like move your eye towards the head and the mouth where it's firing the burst stream of destruction. So this is drawing your attention towards this, which is the brightest part of this composition. So that's basic composition at work on Yu-Gi-Oh cards featuring the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So then we move to, this is the other version of the Shonen Jump, so I'm not talking about. These two were by Kazuki Takahashi. So this one, yeah, Pending Deck. So these two were by Kazuki Takahashi, and these were his later work. So like post Yu-Gi-Oh series. So even these, you can see like he has the crescent of the moon here to like highlight the wings, and everything is just kind of like up in a way, because then you want to see like, wow, what a grand dragon kind of thing. And then you can tell like the tail, like the tower to the tail and the tail all move up. So if I were to break it down, it looks like this. So yeah, the tail all wants to lead you to the head, which is cool, because, you know, like then your eye is drawn up and you want to like see that face. This one's a similar thing. You know, move to the head. The wings help to frame the head, to make it a focus. So same with that. So like this moon wants you to focus on the body of the Blue Eyes, where this one, the wings help frame the head to draw attention towards it. Yeah. And honestly, like I'm not sure why he put this crescent in here, because I don't really see the point of it, but it does make it look cool. Like if it were me, I would have done maybe like the earth down here or something, because then it would be like you have the earth and then you have the dragon, and then he's like and then the wings still like help frame it. Or you could have done like a moon behind him to really highlight that head, but no, yeah, these are his later works where he's trying to like paint. He uses a program called Clip Tools. No, he uses, shoot, was it? He doesn't use Clip Tool. He uses I think it's called Painter, actually. Like now that I think about it. So yeah, so these are compositions that I think work, and I was trying to break them down. Yeah, thanks Elite Gamer. If you want to enter my giveaway, you gotta type !ticket. Though I'm pretty sure, I thought everyone would be automatically entered, but so here's more, like we have various artworks. So I broke down some of them there. So these new ones, you know, like honestly, I feel like this neck is a little too sharp. Like for this one, I feel like its neck is too sharp. Like if I could fix it, I would do like that. Yeah. But again, you know, they're still doing it where the head is separated from the wings, so you kind of focus in on it because the wings help to frame the head, and then you're seeing these background elements too that are just like these clouds help to enhance the curve of this dragon. Like it's repeating the curves of the dragons. You don't notice this too much, but yeah, but even the background's working to help repeat that pattern, so your eyes are just drawn up to the head again, which should be the main focus point. So this one is the Rush Duels remake, so you can already see the difference is, you know, if I didn't, like they have it here where like, yeah, this wing, and they have a faint outline to try to break out an outline. There's a wing and a faint outline to break out the head, So you focus on the head, you can identify the head faster. Here's Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, which is a very cool one. So this one, it's a centered composition.
Just crazy.
So everything is kind of falling within that middle third. And then again, the tail and everything is drawing you towards the head. And they use the wings to frame the head and kind of pop out. Chaos Max is the same kind of idea. This one is a new artwork by Takahashi. It was released with Jump Ryu. Yeah. I have no questions about the blue eyes. Like, I like the way he did it. So it's like, kind of whoop, to the head. Focus is here. But he also has Kaiba here. So the hard thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is if you're trying to learn to draw from Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's great for monsters, but learning to draw people is very hard because, like, all the characters are very stiff. Like, his earlier style, they're very stiff, which is weird because if you read the earlier manga, everyone's kind of more, like, they got big hands, but they're also, like, more organic, I guess. But, like, as he went on, everyone became very angular. So you got Kaiba and his, like, pencil legs and, like, his body and his arm. Like, everything is just very stiff. Like, it's like, I literally just, like, so I mean, if I move this, you can tell, like, Kaiba honestly bothers me the most in this, just because he's very stiff and very angular. Well, it's not the hand poses, I'd say, more like, it's just the way, I think, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Went on, he had, deadlines to meet, so I feel like he moved to a more angular style, like very quick lines and all this stuff. I'll show it in the manga examples I'll have next, but yeah, so this is basic breakdown of, like, card art in Yu-Gi-Oh! But here, for this one, I really don't like this card, the Legendary Dragon of White, because the composition's fine, like, it makes sense, like, tail to head. But the problem I have with this is, if you look at this head, it looks huge, right? Like, it looks heavy. And it feels like this long little pencil neck isn't going to be able to support that giant head. And that's why it, like, bothers me so much. Like, you got a giraffe with, like, an elephant's head on it, basically. And then these legs are, it's like, it's all bow-legged. Like, I don't know, like... Here, if I were to pull just this out, try to draw, like, simplify the composition, it would look hella weird. Like, you got like, the body, you got bow legs for some reason, you got a really long pencil neck, and you got, like, a really big head, and he's, like, really big hands. Like, the wings I don't have any problems with. I like it wings. I like this wing tip, like, pointing towards the head. But it's just, this head's, like, weight is just too heavy. Kaiba shouldn't be, you're right, Kaiba shouldn't be the focus, but he's also smack middle in the composition. So when he drew this artwork, it's actually full size. Like, his feet are down here, the wings go out like this, and it was a full, like, kind of sheet of paper. So if you keep in mind the medium was originally drawn for, it's actually a very good composition because Kaiba's in the middle, he becomes the center of focus, with Blue Eyes' attack being kind of a secondary focus. But also Kaiba's drawn kind of dark, so he kind of fades into that background too. But because Yu-Gi-Oh! Card art, you got a square. They crop everything to a square. So that's why this happens sometimes when they crop art, which I'll show, because Alternative Dragon is a similar situation where they basically, let's see here, Alternative White Dragon. So this artwork, the full artwork is great for playmats, because long horizontal, the dragon takes up, like, the dragon takes up, like, basically the whole, like, available space. You do the rule of thirds again. Everything's everything's like, his head's right in that focal point, which is great. Yeah, so, yeah, Takahashi's just kind of, his people just became very stick-like, which I think is probably a time thing. He probably needed to kind of shorthand. Yeah, like, and then there's full-size art for this just floating around, but when they cropped this for the card artwork, I feel like it got awkward, maybe? I don't know, because it's just like, it no longer follows, like, everything's kind of right in the middle, whereas, like, I think if I had control of it, I would have tried to fill this out more. So, like you could still have the blue eyes, but I would have it, like, here, and then the wing up more. Like, you obscure the wing up more, but it's just, like, it gives it more room to breathe around here. Like, it's too close to this edge, which reminds me, that composition rule where you don't want things going to the corners, because now your eye just immediately wants to go to that corner, and then it feels very pinched, so you want to, like, open that up. So that's why you want to avoid touching your edges, like, in the available canvas. So that's why I don't think this artwork works too well. But if you look at it on playmats and in animation, like, everything works out great. So, like, just even this, the head, eyes, that focal point right there, everything's kind of flowing, wings help to frame the head, good contrast kind of thing. So that's why when you lay out your composition, it's not about making the dragon look cool, but also keep in mind the space you have to work on and what it's going to end up on. So, like, I'll just do this real quick. So, like, if I did a playmat of Alternative Dragon, I don't want to show off the whole thing because it looks badass, right? But I was also, I wouldn't mind, like, a sideways composition, because, you haven't seen that yet. It's kind of boring, but yeah, so like a sideways composition if I did it like that. But if I did a square and I just cut it like here, you lost all this information here. So that's why most of the time you don't do, like, direct from side, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on Alternative Dragon. And then for another example, here's Blue Eyes from Dark Side of Dimensions, Deep Blue, which I really like because this dragon, like, the weird halo thing on its back. Oops, sorry, I keep doing that. The weird halo and the thing in the back is an excellent tool to try to frame the head. Like, you'll see it in these shots. The halo glows and frames the head. Like, it helps you identify where the head is, the body, just kind of, like, everything about this points towards the halo on the head. Like, the wings all have these angles that draw your eye into the center of the head. Kaiba's secondary. You don't even care about Kaiba. You're just looking at, deep blue eyes. Even this one, it's like, this blue eyes, his body all leads you to that face, which is very well lit and bright. You can also tell this is coloring. So, his head's bright. Your eyes want to focus on it. This is from Puzzles and Dragons, I believe. It was the Yugioh collaboration. And they made it so this bright ball is a huge contrast, but also immediately tells you where the head is, and then everything else is just meant to draw your eye towards the head and the energy ball. Yeah, and then so here we'll go to Manga Example. So manga's a little different because you gotta not only think about your individual panel and composition, but how all those panels work together on the page. And you also get the bonus of these action lines to help, like, draw your focus. Because when you're reading manga, you're going right to left, so naturally your eye wants to move this way. So it wouldn't work too great if you had Blue Eyes facing the other way, just because then it's like you're fighting your eye going a certain direction. Like, you're fighting upstream to watch something, like, cool or something, So you can already see, like, Blue Eyes' body goes like this. Kaiba's pointing this way. The lines help draw that action. And then this one too, like, here's Kaiba, but like, Blue Eyes goes up. The action lines draw it too. Like, everything pulls you towards the head of the Blue Eyes because that's where he wants you to focus on. Even then, here we have a 2-page spread. So, same thing. Like, everything is just trying to draw your eye this way, try to show you the action. These action lines here also help enhance that because your eyes want to go like this on the page. So the easiest way to kind of think about it is, like, if I was reading this, I just, like, 1, 2, and then Yugi's like, oh shit. Oh wait, did I do the paneling wrong? Or no, wait, I think it's supposed to be, sorry. Oh shoot, I was drawing on that layer. No, okay, hold on. Sorry, I didn't see this break. So this is a little awkward because this line, it's confusing to see if you want to go this way or this way. But I think the correct order is this way, this, and then you see this full panel. I guess this wasn't the best example. And then like this. But it's all like da 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 da. And then you go to then this, that. So everything is just trying to move your eye like this across the double pages. Yeah, so this is an exception, but the action lines are still trying to draw you towards Blue Eyes' head. Does anyone have any questions so far? Is this making sense? Because then I'm going to move on to just some practice compositions. Actually, you know what I wanted to do is I wanted to pull up... So for this demonstration, I'm going to make a Blue Eyes playmat, you know, just kind of show you guys my thought process and stuff. You guys are free to make suggestions and stuff, but let's see. Can I pull that up? Let me pull that up. So first 4 figures is making a Blue Eyes White Dragon statue, or figure, and the white deluxe edition is already sold out, so let's see. Oh man. Let's see. First 4 figures here. First 4 figures. Blue Eyes. I can't type. I said please. Here we go. The development diary. So I'm gonna skip ahead to where I can find it. So this guy talks about his thought process and how he designed the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So, you know, first step is pulling up references. I don't think you guys... Can you guys hear this one or no? Because then I'll just pull it up via... let me pull it up via YouTube then. You guys can't hear it. Okay, here, you know what? Let me pull it up via YouTube, and then I'll mirror it. Let's see, development diary. Here we go, development diary. Pull this out. Let me add a browser. Let's see. Or no, add a window. I'm still a little new to this. Sorry guys. Okay, let's see. Chrome. Okay, let me go back to Procreate. Okay, here we go. Turn this up. So he walks us through his thought process and how he designed the sculpt for the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And the thing to keep in mind of this is it was not one and done. They had to do multiple iterations, and they pulled up many references and stuff to be able to sure they could get this just right. So here, let me... No, that's Procreate. Come on. Here, we'll watch this for a little bit. Then.
Too stocky. Just had to... Because there are so many different variations of Blue Eyes White Dragon out there, it makes it really challenging to combine all of those references and decide on the actual final design.
Let me know if the audio is okay.
And so the design started. First sculpt. Oof! That looks absolutely rough. I mean, come on, have a look at it. Too short. Too stocky. Just
He's like,
had to start all over again.
Dinosaur arms.
Second sculpt. I mean, there's an improvement, sure. It's not difficult to be better than the first one, but really, still not feeling it. Right back to the drawing board. Time to start over again for sculpt number 3. This time, we went for something a little longer in the proportions. The tail was longer, the neck was longer. Was it okay?
This is 3D modeling, so this is a little different, but...
Not really.
I
let's
think the
try and
part I
improve
want
it.
you guys to
So here
keep
are
in
some
mind
examples
is when they
of the tweaks we
do
tried.
posing. So yeah, they pulled up the
Months
references,
of
did
this,
multiple
back and
designs for the
forth.
head.
Time is ticking. Maybe if we tried posing the sculpt, would that be any better? And at the end of this process, I am left completely unsatisfied. So it's now 6+ months of this, and I'm essentially looking at sculpt number 3, and I just knew I needed help. This is when Boy and I had started the beginnings of our current dream team. I said, we need to start all over again. Let's concept the pose first, and from that, we will get the visual guide for the proportions, and that we can use that for the next sculpt. We narrowed down a couple of choices and used that to create the 4th sculpt.
Okay,
So
so
along
here,
came
wait.
the sculpt.
I want to go back to
create
these
the-
rough sketches for Blue Eyes. So you can see he came up with sketches to try to get the posing down. And yeah, of course. Yeah, but you can see like he's got various ones. So he's got this one says point of contact, side of leg. So when they're designing figures, they need to also keep in mind of how the figure is going to stand up, because you can't just make a floating figure. That's not going to work. Gravity's going to say no. So, you know, these various poses have it where like either one limb or the tail is in contact with the ground, because that's how they run the support like rods through it, so your figure can stand up. But when you do your artwork, you're not really constrained by that. So keep in mind that, you know, they have to do it so they can actually make a figure. But you're seeing like various poses, like, you know, how the tail, like, but all of these have like a really cool line of action. You're seeing like the tail draw up to the head, the wings framing the head again, you know, just the tail through the body of the head. It's all fluid and a really smooth like line.
We will get the visual guide for the proportions, and that we can use that for the next sculpt. We narrowed.
So these poses are very cool. So like D4 chasing and turning pose, like it looks cool, but it's not. It doesn't make sense to me, because then Blue Eyes looks like a freaking velociraptor, like, and you know, then this, you know, just that you wouldn't have Blue Eyes running on the ground. It's not right. So D5, they pulled it from that Kazuki Takahashi artwork that I showed earlier. And then D6 is upside down flying pose, which, you know, it looks like he's doing a skateboard trick. I'm glad they didn't go with that. But they're just experimenting, and they're just trying out different poses. So D7 sideways flying, I like this one. This one's good. Like, you got the head, tail drawn through the body, the wings framing again. D8, landing and remembered left the oven on pose. So D8 reminds me of, I'll pull it in a second. Whoops. Hold on. It reminds me of the Good Smile figure that they did a while ago. I'll pull it up. So yeah, I mean, before drawing any of this, you should always be looking up references. I mean, there's no shame in like looking and working from references. But yeah, here's. Let's see if I can pull this up. Come on. Sorry guys. So the Good Smile Blue Eyes White Dragon figure. So that last pose D8 just reminds me of this. It's a very expensive yeah. It's a very expensive figure, but it's very cool. It was like resin cast and stuff like that. But yeah, you're seeing like the flow of the body, the arms and legs, and it all focused to that head. Whoops. So yeah, so he's keeping this in mind. Like, you need to have a base, otherwise the figure's not going to be able to stay up, basically. But yeah.
Down a couple of choices and use that to create the 4th sculpt. So along came the sculpt, starting fleshing out the base. How could we get it to complement the sculpt, and how can we use it to support the figure?
Yeah, so
Finally,
working in 3D is different, but
hooray!
Yeah.
Sculpt number 4 is finished. I went ahead and printed out a mini version to review, and we could carefully view it from all angles. Now this is October 2018.
Here, I'll drop this link if you guys want to watch the full thing.
For over 10 months,
yeah.
and we were finally done. Right? Right? Wrong. You know how it is. Sometimes you get tunnel vision. You stare at something so long that you just don't see the big picture. So we're now in the middle of 2019. At this point, Chris, the project manager on Blue Eyes, asked me to sign off on the print for the Sculpt number 4. Looking at it with fresh eyes, that great feeling I got when I looked at the Sculpt at the end of 2018, well, it was gone. At this stage, Steven Stolberg and Alex Paschenko had already joined tour, and the dream team is now really beginning to take form.
Yeah, that's honestly all I wanted to show you guys from the development diary is that because yeah, just kind of their layout and composition, and they pulled up all their references so they could do that. Here, I'm just gonna pull the music back up. Just shove that down there. But yeah, so don't be afraid to pull up references. There's no shame in references. Yeah, so I mean, if there are toys or figures or models, I would definitely use those as reference. Because yeah, so getting back to this, so we're gonna break down and do like a Blue Eyes playmat, and I'm welcome to feedback. Like, what do you guys want the Blue Eyes to be doing? Like, yeah, definitely don't be afraid of critique. If you have some friends or trusted friends that, you know, because sometimes you're pigeonholed into something and you're just kind of scribbling something and then you're just like, ugh, this doesn't look right. I don't know, why doesn't it look right? And it's good to have a second pair of eyes, just because then you have that friend or someone that goes like, hey, you know, your arm looks kind of weird or something, you know. But yeah. So yeah, so you know, just starting off, I'm gonna keep in mind that rule of thirds. So just I pulled this up, I multiplied it. Starting out, you just do that. Blue Eyes doing skateboard tricks. You could do that, yeah. Is the weird things. Skateboard pose. So the skateboard pose he was talking about was like it was doing a backflip. So it's like, here I'll do that real quick. Like here it was just. Looks like he's riding a hot dog. He's got a little leg. Here, we'll just do a fun, silly drawing before we get too serious. I can probably do like that. Sick air, bro. Blue Eyes doing skateboard. Is this what you guys want? Should I do this for the mat? No, that wouldn't be very. I'll do this as a crack doodle. I'll put on Twitter later. Oh, you know, actually, the tail should be more like, I think like that. It'd be more fun. So even like this, I have a wide canvas. I wanted it to be my center of focus. So I have the wings like this. I have everything kind of directing your eyes towards the head. With the skateboard being kind of secondary. The flow of the body. Being able to do this as fast as you can comes with practice and comes with, you know, skill and practice. So it's not something you're gonna pick up immediately. But yeah, let's get back to a serious Blue Eyes drawing. So what do you guys think? Should it be like in space? Should it be like attacking something? Should it be on a building? Open to suggestions. Otherwise, I could just come up with something. So you know, this rule of thirds is just there, but you know, I like to sometimes start out with like thumbnailing. So I know I have a long horizontal canvas. So let's just try to think of a cool pose or something. Egypt dragon? Oh, Blue Eyes in Egypt? That would be cool, yeah. So before I start, because I know a lot of people will probably just look at the card art and then they're like, how do I draw this? Like, I don't understand. I'll just copy this one because it's a more recent. Oops, no, I wanted. It's more recent artwork, so I want to use that as my reference. Actually, you know what? I like. Shoot, which other one was a good one? This one was a good one too. But I don't like the wings on the one next to it. I don't like the wings too much on it. It's weird. Let's just go classic. Let's just go classic Blue Eyes. So the interesting thing is when you have a reference like this, okay, Blue Eyes doing the pose seen on the second artwork, or Red Eyes. Oh, this one, the S one. Well, yeah, but I don't really want to. I don't want to copy it. I mean, we could do it and improve on it, but here I'll just copy that for reference. Anyways, I think I drew on it though, so like, oops. Yeah, I drew on it already. Or no, you know what? Here, wait. Because I pulled these up before I started. Let's see, this one. Alright, so these are going to be our references. So if you're an artist and you're working from commission, sometimes you'll only get a reference image. Now, the idea is when you get a reference image like this, you want to try to break it down. So you want to say like, okay, I've never drawn this thing before in my life. What the fuck is this, right? Or what the heck? Sorry, swearing, whatever. So I always like to start with the head. So you can see, I know there's some Blue Eyes artwork there that has like a really short head. So it's kind of like that. But in more recent artwork and the movies, they've drawn it with a more like elegant long head. So this is just, you're trying to think of it like, what does this thing look like from the side? So yeah, we have the head and then that large like crest in the back. So that's the basic breakdown of head. I've seen an anime where it's like a short head. Kawaki Meru Valafar. Here, let me see that. We can use that as an example. I was gonna break down Blue Eyes, but I can do Kawaki Meru Valafar. Is that this one? Let's see. That's not too bad. He's just like a normal stocky guy. He's got a really weird face going on though. Here, I'm gonna do the breakdown process for Blue Eyes, and then I'll try out your Kawaki Meru guy. But yeah, so you check it out. So what is this monster? What are the key features of this monster that I need to capture in my artwork? So we got this. We got the long neck. You could count it out if you really wanted to be accurate, but I'm gonna estimate about like 12, pretty evenly spaced. And then you got the chunky body. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to this because I know it has like these panels that stick out. So this is just breaking down the monster, understanding what it looks like. Here, I'm just gonna let's do this. Breaking down the monster, what does it look like from the side, and what are the key features I need to capture? So we just do this and the tail. Now, proportionately, that looks pretty okay, right? And I mean, I think I made the body a little chunky, but here, we can always adjust that. Then we have the legs. It's got like, I'm gonna go with this because it's the classic Blue Eyes look. Because I feel like over the years they just keep adding these random little spike things on it. I don't know why they do that. So we got a leg. And this Blue Eyes, sometimes they draw Blue Eyes with this little like knee hook thing going on, which I personally like to do, but sometimes they don't, and it's like the classic artwork doesn't do that, and some figures don't do that. But I personally like to add that little knee spike because I think it looks cooler. But yeah, so we got the thigh, we have the, what do you call it, calf, and then we have the foot. So actually, looking at it, Blue Eyes actually has a leg more like this. So I actually did it wrong. I gave it a digigrade leg when it should be more like that. Actually, haha, I learned something new. He's got like little arms, little dinosaur arms, like 3 claws, and the little thumb claw. And then you got the wings, which I believe attach a little behind his arms. And ends in the 1 spike. Oops. Oh, I drew right on top of the. I drew right on top of the reference. That is my bad. Hold on, let me just move this around. So just by looking at this reference, I have a pretty good breakdown of what Blue Eyes looks like from the side. Oh. To be honest, I feel like if you had drawn Valifar and the legs weren't 100% accurate, I don't think anyone would have noticed. But yeah, no. So here we have Blue Eyes from the side, and that's just pulling information from a reference here, you know, and same with the other one. So just kind of breaking down what you need to do and how the monster is composed is what we're gonna try to do today. So that's Blue Eyes from the side. The front is a little more harder. So that one is where if you have the reference, like, let's see, where's the screenshot from the anime? Here, this is a good one. So you can see it's not a wide head, it's a pretty narrow head. So if I were to draw it from like the top view, I would do something like this. So yep, because we can tell from this, it's got a very long head. Honestly, the side spikes should look like that. So yeah, pull up references if you can find them. If you can't, just do your best. It also takes kind of an understanding of spatial recognition and like 3D kind of thing, like in your mind. Some people find hard, but here, Blue Eyes' head from the top. So then from that we can infer, like just from this image, it's kind of a long cylinder. If we do just like axes points. The spikes, the eyes, that face spike thing. And there we go, Blue Eyes, kind of a 3/4 view. Does anyone have any questions so far? And does this make sense? Like, I don't want to be like everything's going over people's heads, but so yeah, those are our references. I drew it right on top of the freaking thing. You know what? Here, we'll just. But anyways, back to layout. So for playmat, you have a very horizontal, wide canvas, so you kind of want to do extra things. So I like that suggestion of Egypt. So we could play off of when Kisara is, you know, spoiler, she died, but like when Kisara sacrifices, she becomes the Blue Eye. So we can look that up, that reference there. Let's see. There's no fan art there, but let's see if there's this scene. You can incorporate the tablet. Oh, you know what would be cool? If we had a preset summoning the Blue Eyes White Dragon. I think that would be cool. Let's do that. Alright, I'm gonna pull that, the tablet. I don't know why. Oh, that was the old preset, like nobody knew. what was going on. That's pretty. She's in a nice dress. Am I gonna get weird porn? No, I hope not. Like, it's like, don't screw me now, Google. Okay, so let's go with the Blue Eyes in Egypt because I like that idea. Pulling some more references. Gotta get your references. Yeah, for anyone who's joining, here, let me find it. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you guys, unless is that for? Oh, that's taken to my dashboard. How do I tell this thing to? Oh wait, no. I guess when you guys click it, you can see what's going on. But yeah, so type exclamation point ticket. So I like the idea of the ancient Egypt battle. So we could do it. We could do it a few ways. So we could do, like, if it's just Blue Eyes, we have a more centralized composition. I'm thinking like Egyptian pillar ruins, maybe. Horizon on the bottom. Perspective thing going on. With the palace in the background, maybe. So we have a centered, balanced composition. So your question, TMGC, is if they summon Blue Eyes in Las Vegas, would it still be the blue shade or the lights from all the buildings? So I honestly think the skin is a metallic blue, so it would still retain that light blue shadow, but because it is kind of a hard surface, the lights from Vegas would reflect off of it. So you'd have something like, so let's pretend this Blue Eyes is in Vegas. So you would and say there was like a neon sign like there or something. So the light would cast on this Blue Eyes, and then you would see something like this, like it reflects off of the Blue Eyes or something. You could do like, but it wouldn't change the inherent color of the Blue Eyes. Does that make sense? But that's coloring. That's a coloring kind of thing, which I'm okay with, but I'm not an expert on, so I'm not gonna say like what's going on with the thing. But yeah, anyways, back to this. So I'm doing basic thumbnail layout where I'm thinking like, okay, I want to put the palace there. I want to put like columns, kind of keep my horizon in that lower third. You do like Egyptian columns. I don't know what they exactly look like. And then for Blue Eyes, we could do a new layer. We could do a centralized composition where it's like staring right at you. Just kind of like the wings, because you want to keep in mind your canvas. You want to use up as much space as you can while keeping that balance between positive and negative space. So, you know, I'm going to make the wings big. I'm going to draw it out. And then for the tail, can just kind of that. So your eyes want to kind of drop up through the tail to its head, kind of thing. And we can have like preset here. That's one way of doing it, but you know, so that's kind of a basic centralized composition. It's a little boring. So the way we could improve on it, here I'll just move that down for reference. But the way we could try to improve on it, and we see this in these other Blue Eyes cards, is you have the neck kind of like going up and out, so it kind of like pulls your eye up more. Oops, wait. Okay. So we could do that as well. So continuing this line from the tail, you draw up the neck. now you can already tell it feels much different. Like he's just screaming into the sky. And I like the wings being open like this, because if you do it closed, then you kind of lose kind of that majesty. I think like it looks like it's more like resting, versus it's like rawr, I'm attacking. So yeah, that's why I chose to keep the wings like that. Hello, Slavic Muffin. Thank you for joining. So yeah, we're just going in thumbnail. So I kind of like that idea. Another idea to keep this like Egyptian themed is, let me see if I can. I'm just gonna pull my references to the side. What happened? Wait, what layer? Okay, that layer. Hold on. I'm trying to pull my references to the side. Yeah, copy paste. Yeah, I may need it. I made this. I'm just gonna take that one too. I know, but now I'm on top. Yep, I'll leave it there. There you go. Put my references aside, and now we'll do a different composition. So this one, we're still keeping to the Egypt thing, but I'm thinking, what if Presetto summoning from the? Oh man, where'd my? Hold on. Oh, the pillars were on that layer. Whoops. Okay, let's just copy paste that. Oh, wait. Okay, great. I lost my background scribble, that's why I had to do that. Okay. Well, when you have it forward facing, it restricts you to like a very centralized composition. And for Yu-Gi-Oh, they not only have to keep in mind the card art, but they also have to keep in mind the products they're going to use that artwork for. So if I were to do like a centralized composition where Blue Eyes is just staring right at you, like it looks cool, but actually there are a few monsters that do this. But yeah, you are right, they don't really do it for Blue Eyes. But let's see, the one that comes off to mind is the Heretic Dragon. I think it's this one, right? Heretic Dragon is one. They have a centered composition. There's also this one, the Sun Dragon, is another central one. But you can always, when they do this artwork, you're kind of stuck like to a very balanced, even mirrored composition. Like you can't really have the dragon turn slightly left or right or anything like that. So they do it for other artwork, but you are right. I didn't realize they didn't really do that for Blue Eyes. We could do that. We can also just extend its head up. Let me see. It was that layer, hold on. I don't know what happened there. Alright, well, we can also just... There's a... Oh, okay, that's almost skateboarding Blue Eyes layer. Good one. You can also do... He's more like standing up intimidating. So head, neck... wings, arms, tail. We can do that too, but now you see your composition kind of it's stretched out more, whereas I'm trying to keep it more horizontal. I mean, that's one way, but even then, see, I don't have it dead center. Like, I don't have it facing like mirrored, because it's just more visually interesting if you do it like, because now it's like, even though the head's centered, like your neck's like this, the body's like this, and it goes like this. Whereas if I did everything front, from the front, here, let me just, like a straight shot Blue Eyes, like, looks pretty boring, in my opinion. Like, if I were to make it an exact mirror, it still looks cool, right? But now it's like, that's honestly, that's just my line of action, is that, and maybe the wings. Whereas this is just more, like, fluid and more of emotion in there, so that's why I like to personally not do straight on. Like, at least something has to be not mirrored, not balanced, just because, just that little bit of variety makes it more interesting. But yeah, so that's if we did a centralized composition. Now the other idea I think would be cool is, what if we had like the tablet and like the corrupt Presetto, the one being possessed by Akhenaten, with, so your sketches don't have to be great. This is just honestly for composition. So we could do that with the Millennium Rod. So now that takes up a good portion. So I'm going to move it down so it's only about a third of our canvas here. And then we can have Blue Eyes, really badass looking. So like what I'm doing is I'm trying to give the Presetto figure some room to breathe, where and then Blue Eyes kind of becomes the main focus. So his wings are gonna go off, but that's okay. Okay, so that's a rough. So let me clean that up a little. It'll be a little easier to see what's going on. Again, really rough, just so you can. Also have his cape go out, I guess. But yeah, so here we go with Blue Eyes. So I'm just gonna. Well, I guess because we're kind of looking up. So now I have to think, because I'm thinking about this, and it's our camera, or like our field of view, is actually kind of pointing up and up slightly. So maybe it has to be more like Blue Eyes has to. You have to see more of its lower jaw. Oh, that looks awesome. What's off is the sides. So I'm gonna like so it's not an easy process, not a perfect process either, but the head is huge, huh? Like now that I'm thinking about it, I kinda like it more. This and then okay, so I added some more Twitch channel point like redemption prizes, and that includes like chibi art and full size art. So if you guys like that kind of thing, want to avoid. You could do like that, or have the wings. Or like that too. That'll be okay for this composition, I think. I'm gonna just preset it. Like I'm okay with this, but I feel like if we move things slightly to the right, and let's move this down so everyone can see. And if I frame it, like that, I'm thinking maybe the wings going out is a little better. So what do you guys, which one do you like more? This composition or the one where it's kind of more him in the center? Or do you guys have any suggestions? Actually, no, for this one, it might, yeah, I'm trying to do a tutorial series. For this one, actually, you know what? We could do like where Set is holding like Kisara. And then so the blue eyes becomes more like a protective kind of idea. Like it's protecting Seto and Kisara. We could add like some clouds or something to that. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? The second is the best for Matt? Yeah, this first one's a nice idea. I might do it just for like fun later on. But yeah, here, let's just clean up this sketch a little more. If it's going to be more protective, then we'd actually would want to close the wings on, maybe. So yeah, just even changing the wing poses kind of changes the feel of the piece. So if we were going closed wings, that kind of takes it from like attack mode to like protector mode. So you can, so the wing posing is also important based on what you want this to do. Then actually in this case, if it's going like protector mode, here let me. If it's going to kind of more protective kind of idea, then its head would actually be better like down. Because then it's kind of looking down and trying to protect Set and Kisara. In this case, we do lose its neck, so it's going to be a little harder to tell how its neck is, but yeah. Yeah, so for one, I might do an illustration, which actually in that case, I think compositionally wise, it would work better as like a vertical piece. So in this case, you can see how even changing the pose and changing your mood can affect how your canvas should reflect that, or what kind of canvas and how you should frame your work. Yeah, I miss conventions too, but I don't miss getting sick, so. So we'll just do it like, yeah, so here are some examples of just posing, how the wings kind of change the feel, how you need to keep in mind your canvas. So yeah, so we're going with this one. So let me just. I mean, skateboard blue eyes is funny, but like I don't think it's really good for what we're trying to do here. It's a cute idea though. I like it. That could be an emote. Depends on the convention. Oh my god, my dog just growled. There's someone outside. All right, so let's take this one because we like it. Turn off my reference. I'm gonna move them here. Turn them off. Move it up. No, actually, don't move it up. See if we can. So keep in mind that rule of thirds. Now look at what's happened. So now we have the Blue Eyes' head on one of the intersections, and then we can have presetto on the other. So see how this follows the rule of thirds already. We are good on composition. Here, I'll leave this up just so